Good morning, everyone. I'm John Murphy, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about teamwork, pulling together 10 rules to high performance teamwork. Before I cover the 10 rules, let me ask you something. Are you someone who gets a little frustrated sometimes when you're working on a team? Why is that? What's going on? Why don't people just get along better in a team setting? Well, you probably know that diversity is an advantage in any team setting. With diversity, we challenge one another's assumptions, and it's the assumptions that often get us into the most trouble. So when we're working individually, it might be easier, but if our assumptions go unchallenged, we end up making mistakes. Now put 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 or 7 people together, and no doubt you're going to have some friction. The assumptions driving your attitude, your behavior, your thinking might conflict with other people's assumptions. So through teamwork, we get down to that root level of thinking, the assumptions that we make day after day after day. And this is where synergy, or the power of teamwork, comes from. It comes from that ability to, in a healthy way, challenge one another's assumptions. But to do that effectively, we need some ground rules. We need some help, some guidance. So today, let's cover 10 rules. These are 10 rules that are covered in my book, Pulling Together the 10 Rules to High Performance Teamwork. It's published by Simple Truths and is sold out twice already this year. It's a very popular book because this is a very popular topic. So let's start with rule number 1. Put the team first. Put the team first. What does this mean? In simple terms, it means that we have to get past a me-opic, or what's in it for me agenda, to a we-opic sense of vision. What's in it for we? What can we do collectively to make things better for all of us? This is what teamwork is really all about. What can we do together to make things better for all of us? We're searching for win-win solutions, win-win results, where we all gain. So this is not really giving up who we are. On the contrary, it's bringing who we are to the table to enrich the decisions we make and the solutions we find. So we have to recognize rule number 1 is put the team first. Rule number 2 is communicate openly and candidly. Be honest with one another. Think about this. If you disagree, say so, but be careful in how you do it. We're not talking about personal attacks here. You're wrong. You this, you that. It's much better to approach these types of things from a I feel perspective. I am concerned perspective. If we do this, here is what I'm concerned will happen. Here are my doubts. Here are my fears. Let's get those on the table. Let's share information. Let's not hold anything back. If we have data that we can share with the team to make things better, we share it. If the data is a little bit ugly, we have some serious problems here, it's better to get it on the table than to try to hide it. So we communicate openly and candidly. Rule number 3 is be part of the solution, not the problem. If we do not put the team first and we do not communicate openly and candidly, there's a chance we become part of the problem. We're no longer in alignment with our teammates. We're no longer moving on a common mission. We start to disrupt things. We start to throw variation into the process. It's much better to focus on that win-win solution that we all are seeking and pursuing as we work as a team. Rule number 4 is absolutely critical, and it is to respect diversity. Respect diversity. Recognize that it's our differences that actually make things most interesting and most enriching. So where are we different? How are we different? let's bring that out. Where are we unique? What unique talents do we have on the team? How are we able to collectively elevate the consciousness of the team? And we do that with a healthy respect of diversity. Rule number 5, ask and encourage questions. Not just any questions, but let's think carefully about the questions we ask. Ask and encourage the right questions. Be curious. It's a very healthy tendency on any team to come at things with a sense of curiosity. Why do we do that? What does that mean? I don't understand. Help me understand. Pushback. Give me pushback. Tell me what's wrong with what I just said. Okay. The right questions. How long does it take to do this? What's the variation about the average? Does it sometimes take 2 hours and sometimes 2 days? What's that all about? Whatever the mission is, we want to be open-minded and open-hearted as we approach one another and the journey that we're on. Seek the data, ask the questions, and don't get the cart ahead of the horse, which is often what happens when we try to put solutions out, in preconceived solutions, out in front of a healthy data collection effort and analysis. Let's start with the facts, let's ask the right questions, let's analyze the data, and then let's approach alternatives. This leads us to the 6th rule, which is to use a rational process when solving problems. Oftentimes teams fall apart because some members of the team are already on solutions. Some members of the team are brainstorming. Some members of the team are still back trying to figure out what the current state is and gather data and facts on where are we now and what's going wrong. Others are heavy into analysis or they're just lost. The most important thing we can do as a team is to stay on the same page together. We're trying to create what I call a collective mind. The collective mind is where we start to really bring our thoughts together and approach things as one. Okay? As a team, we are one. All right, the 7th is to build trust with integrity and example. Stop and ask yourself, what kind of example do I set when I work on a team? Do I show up on time? Do I give it 100% of my attention? Do I shut my phone off? Do I pay attention to whoever's talking? Do I listen? Do I empathize? Do I ask the right questions? Do I put the team first? Am I part of the solution or am I part of the problem? What kind of example am I setting? Trust is a bedrock, a foundation to teamwork. If you want to build trust, you have to act with integrity, to walk your talk, and your talk has to be right. Okay? Has to be right. The next principle or rule is to commit to excellence. Stop and ask yourself this: do I give it my very best every time? Do I give it my very best every time? Am I committed to true excellence? Which means, am I committed to ongoing improvement? As good as it might be, as good as I might be, am I always seeking a little bit better? Am I always looking for how can I do things just a little bit better? This is the wisdom and the sage, if you will, in great leaders. They seek continuous improvement. They know we are here to grow, to expand, to be creative. It's why we exist. It's to expand ourselves. It's to learn and become more knowledgeable. When we stop learning, we die. The 9th principle is to promote interdependent thinking. Interdependent thinking. We're all familiar with dependent thinking, which essentially means I need you to take care of me. I am dependent on the boss. I am dependent on somebody to tell me what to do. I am dependent on my parents or my siblings or my spouse, or I'm dependent on someone. Children, infants grow up